Alright guys, we're going to talk about literal equations today. Oh my goodness, what does that mean? Okay, so all a literal equation is just multiple variables. Right, so you can see we have d equals r times t. Y equals mx plus b. So we're going to rearrange a given formula, okay, or I could say an equation, same thing, and solve for a single variable. Right now, the difference between a literal equation and what we've been talking about in the past is we got x equals 3. You got a number. When we're solving a literal equation, all we're doing is we're rearranging variables. We're not going to get a number. D equals r times t. We have 3 variables here. There's no way for me to solve and get d equals 5 or r equals 8. So all we're going to do is we're going to rearrange variables. How are we going to do that? We're going to use inverse operations. Same thing we've been doing. And in what order? We're going in reverse PEMDAS. Right? So we're going in reverse PEMDAS. So the same exact thing we've been doing, except now, instead of moving numbers, okay, I could be moving variables also. No big deal. No big deal. We're still going to do the same exact thing that we've been doing to solve equations. So on number 1, I've got d equals r times t. I want to solve for r. Right? So I'm solving for that given variable. So again, this is d equals r times t. I'm solving for this puppy, which means I need to get rid of the t. These are multiplied together, so the opposite of multiplying, inverse operation, is to divide. So that goes away. We're left with r equals d over t. And that's it. We've solved for r. R is by itself. Again, you're not going to get a number because you don't know what d and t are. Going to number 2, we got y equals mx plus b. We're solving for b, right? So we need to get rid of this mx. So you have mx. You need to get rid of it. The inverse operation of having something is to subtract it. So we're going to subtract mx on both sides. Mx minus mx cancels out. We're left with b equals y minus mx. Those are not like terms, so you cannot combine those. So that is my answer. Number 3, solve for m, right? This is m divided by d. I want to get rid of the divided by d, so I'm going to multiply by the variable d on both sides. That cancels out. You're left with m equals v times d. Again, that's as far as we can go. Those are not like terms. We don't know what v and d are. We don't know what numbers they are, so that's your answer. Number 4, a equals 1/2 b1 plus b2 times h. We're solving for b1. Oh my goodness. Okay, now the first step I would do is I would get rid of the fraction. Alright, so now how do I get rid of a 1/2? This is divided by 2, so the opposite of dividing by 2 is to multiply by 2 on both sides. 1/2 multiplied by 2 cancels out. 2 times a is 2a equals b1 plus b2 times h. So that's times h. Right? Okay, now how do I get rid of a times h? I'm going to divide by h on both sides. So now we have 2a over h equals b1 plus b2. We're solving for b1. So we need to get rid of this plus b2. So the opposite of that is to subtract b2 on both sides. That goes away. So we have 2a divided by h and then minus b2 equals b1. Number 5, we're solving for x. So the first thing I need to do is get rid of this divided by 4. Okay, again, I cannot touch this minus y until I get rid of the divided by 4. All of it's divided by 4. So the way I get rid of a divided by 4 is to multiply by 4 on both sides. Those cancel out. You got 4m equals x minus y. We're solving for x, so we need to get rid of the minus y. Opposite of minus y is to add y to both sides. 4m plus y equals x. Solving for h on number 6, so I want to get rid of my 1/3, multiplying by 3 on both sides. 1/3 and multiplied by 3 cancels out, so we have 3v equals pi r squared h. Now, pi is a number, r squared in my mind is a number, so I'm going to divide by pi r squared, because again, those are all multiplied together. Pi times r squared times h. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide. So we're dividing by pi r squared. So that goes away. We're left with h over here. Over here we've got 3v over pi r squared. Number 7, we're solving for L. First thing I need to do is get rid of this 2w. So it's a plus 2w, inverse is to subtract 2w on both sides. P minus 2w equals 2L. 2 times L, so to get L by itself, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. So we get P minus 2w over 2 equals L. Last one, number 8, E equals mc squared. We're solving for C. Alright, so I'm going to divide by m, because that's m times c squared, so divide by m. We get E over m equals c squared. Now the opposite of squaring something is to take the square root, so I'm going to square root both sides. And we get c equals the square root of E over m. And we'll leave it like that.